people also, their houses being demolished because they've self-allocated themselves land. So, I mean, these issues are well within, they're justified, let me say so.
The issues like corruption, inadequate land records, land allocation and mismanagement, like we've already said. So these, would we say they stem from the fact that this establishment has come from way back? We're talking about 1968, when for the first time we had a Tribal Land Act, and then from thenceforth we kept on having some improvements. In 2006, the Department of Land Board was established. So what are we seeing? Do we say from all of these, then we do need a change of the process itself? Do we need a change of the department itself, the shape, the model, remodeling, reforming? Is that what we need?
No, I think let me put things into proper context. In 1968, the Principal Act, the 1968 Tribal Land Act was introduced, yes, which led to the formation of the land boards in 1970. When the land boards started, the composition, I think it was a problem, because the Kosi became the ex-official members of the land boards. And that was the Kosi, and the Kosi has the right to appoint any person to the land board. In most cases were deputy the Kosi, Batusa Kosi. And there were also 2 members of the district council who were councillors by then politicians. And there were also other 2 members nominated by the minister then. So the problem with the land board has always been the composition of the board members, because we should be in a position in the 21st century to put people with very adequate expertise to execute their mandate of the land board. Because even if you look at Section 5 of the reenacted Tribal Land Act of 2018, Section 4, it says the land boards are holding land on behalf of Batswana for kind of socio-economic benefit of all the peoples of Botswana, citizens of Botswana. And if you look at Section 5, subsection 2b, it talks about equitability in terms of land distribution. So have they managed to do that? They have not, because of as I've said, the main problem is the composition of the land boards. The people who are put there in most cases are people without the relevant expertise to govern this sensitive resource called land. I think that, to me, that is one of the major issues. So at the moment, you know that in 1984, the government removed the chiefs from being ex-official member in terms of having the powers to appoint a member to the land boards. That was in itself trying to democratize the process. But the problem was that in 1986, the members of the district council, who are councillors, were removed. Also about, I think it was 1986. But at the moment, what we are seeing now is the putting of people who have been who have lost elections in different political parties into the land boards. Not necessarily that some of these people have got expertise. Of course, some of them they do have, but in most cases we've seen that it's like a political reward to certain individuals who would have lost elections in their member parties. I mean, I think that has always been the problem. What we need people who are really very much relevant in terms of expertise, in terms of qualification, in terms of experience to manage this delicate resource called land. I think that is my take. If I were to be given power today, I would dissolve all the land board membership and make sure that the process puts in people who have the relevant expertise, as I've already mentioned. Yes.
So if I hear you right, the irrelevance is with the members that are being appointed into the process itself, and also the process, the way it is being done, does not really benefit Batswana as it should.
No, the land board as a structure is okay. For me, it's okay because it democratized land allocation, taking away land from our Mahosi, who also remained actually part of ex-official members, which is okay, because the land boards will always need the expertise of Mahosi as the community leaders of their own people. But my emphasis is that for you to democratize the process, you also need to also put in people who have the relevant experience and expertise in managing land. So we have not had that kind of process since the establishment of the land boards in 1970. Yes,
most definitely. All right, let's talk also about if you have any further recommendations with the land boards, how they should be constituted. You've already touched on that, but in terms of rolling out now the processes and actually implementing what Batswana have entrusted them with, they are there on behalf of Batswana, as you've already said. What can be done to ensure that at the end of the day the processes are being followed well? There's great monitoring of how things are, how the work is being implemented. There is a review that is taking place. We actually see results coming out, and there's actually speed in the process. What really should be done in that regard?
So there's poor record keeping at the land boards. That's one of the main challenges, because the digitalization of their process needs to be done as soon as possible. Because some of the issues of double allocation is because there's always issues of whether they have adequate records so that they can refer to. Once you have a digitalized process of ensuring that we have captured all the names of the applicants, that would also eliminate issues of double. You will find that many, as I've already mentioned, in the Kabu Commission, you would find that one individual owns more than 700 plots of land, the other one 500 plots of land. So multiple allocations is because of the lack of record keeping in these land boards. I think they need to ensure that they migrate to digital from paperwork. I think that's one of the other recommendations that we need to really focus on.
Most definitely. Right. Now we're looking at the best way forward to addressing all these issues that are being raised, that have always been there, and actually are a great concern. I think almost every, not many, but most Batswana have had complaints when it comes to land distribution and actually being allocated land which they've applied for years and years back. So what is the best way forward in addressing these land issues as holistically, especially looking at the short to medium term that we have?
No, already we have land that has been demarcated by the land surveys. So what you need, sometimes you don't necessarily need the land board members to sit down and educate whether they should allocate your land. Because already there's a mapping, there's land has been surveyed, plots have been demarcated already. It's just a matter of allocating that land based on what is already existing. Rather than, because of course, there will always be issues of infilling in villages and all the like. But what we need to do is to follow what the already demarcated plots and allocate people land. I mean, that's the problem with the land boards, as I said, is that sometimes it takes a lot of time because they do not have even proper records themselves to know whether Remanasa has land elsewhere. Because, as you know, the revised land policy of 2019 says you can only own one plot of land in the state land and tribal land. But this is not happening because they don't have proper records to keep. So they rely on you. You have they will have to ask you to say, okay, in this case, do you have any other plot elsewhere? Then, of course, you will, because of the oath, taking oath, then will say, no, yes, I do have a land in Tlokwen elsewhere. But they should be really having a proper kind of record just to punch and say, no, you have a plot of land, we are not going to allocate another piece of land.
Right.
Yes.
Most definitely. Well, I think we're looking forward to having more of this conversation.
Yes.
It does require more time. Unfortunately, we're now out of time. But thank you so much, Dr. Manasa, for making time this morning.
Okay. Thank you so much.
All right. As a conversation, of course, we're talking about land allocation, land distribution here in Botswana and how it has been going. Of course, what we're looking forward to, the recommendations thereof.
Physical violence is the most prevalent form of violation suffered by children in Botswana, with 28.4 female and 43.0 male children having suffered physical violation before the age of